March 2nd in Puerto Rico is Citizenship Day. United States citizenship, that is. And the whole week, government commemorates the date when Puerto Ricans were granted citizenship under the Jones Act.
Proclama de la Gobernadora de Puerto Rico, Semana de la Ciudadanía Americana en Puerto Rico y Día Conmemorativo del Advenimiento de la Ciudadanía Americana en Puerto Rico, por cuanto el 2 de marzo de 1917 el presidente Woodrow Wilson firmó la Ley Jones, extendiendo la ciudadanía estadounidense a los nacidos en Puerto Rico y marcando un momento decisivo en la vida de nuestro pueblo, al convertirnos en ciudadanos de los Estados Unidos de América, con derechos, deberes y oportunidades que transforman generaciones enteras, por cuanto este año 2026, cuando celebramos los 250 años de la fundación de nuestra nación, Puerto Rico abraza esta conmemoración histórica como parte integral de esa trayectoria de libertad, democracia y progreso, y honra casi 110 años de ciudadanía estadounidense dentro de esta historia compartida, por cuanto la ciudadanía estadounidense representa libertades protegidas por la Constitución, acceso a beneficios y oportunidades que fortalecen a nuestras comunidades y la posibilidad real de participar en la construcción continua de la nación, desde la educación y la vida pública hasta el servicio militar y la iniciativa privada. Por cuanto ser ciudadano de los Estados Unidos implica asumir deberes que sostienen la democracia, participar, servir, respetar la ley, defender la libertad y transmitir a nuestros hijos el orgullo de pertenecer a una nación fundada sobre principios que continúan guiando nuestro destino de igualdad plena dentro de la Unión. Por tanto, yo, Rosacheli Rivera Santana, secretaria de Estado, junto a la gobernadora de Puerto Rico, Jennifer A. González Colón, en virtud de la autoridad que confiere la ley número 53 del 2000, se proclama del 1 al 7 de marzo del 2026 y en particular hoy, 2 de marzo, Semana de la Ciudadanía Americana en Puerto Rico y Día Conmemorativo del Advenimiento de la Ciudadanía Americana en Puerto Rico. Invito a nuestro pueblo a conmemorar estas fechas con espíritu patriótico, conscientes de que la culminación natural de nuestra ciudadanía se alcanza mediante la admisión de Puerto Rico como Estado, en testimonio de lo cual firmo la presente y hago estampar el gran sello del Gobierno de Puerto Rico en la ciudad de San Juan, hoy 2 de marzo del 2026, y en la celebración y fundación de los 250 años de los Estados Unidos de América. Muchas felicidades.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Chronicles and Cocktails. I'm Josué, the spirited historian, and today we are talking about U.S. citizenship in Puerto Rico. And not only that, but the differences of the citizenships depending on where you are born. Okay. Imagine Puerto Rico in a legal limbo, no longer under the Spanish crown, but not quite American either. That's a bit confusing. Our story begins in 1901. The Foraker Act had just established a civil government for Puerto Rico, but it left the people of Puerto Rico in a strange unincorporated void. Our first resident commissioners weren't just politicians. They were pioneers fighting for an identity in the halls of a Congress that barely let them speak. So that's why, for this episode, we need a cocktail first. To reflect the complex journey toward U.S. citizenship from 1901 to 1917, the best cocktail for this episode is the El Presidente. This drink is historically significant because it emerged in the Caribbean during the same era this episode covers, and represents the sophisticated diplomatic bridge between the islands and the United States of America. While its origins are often tied to Havana, it was the aristocrat of cocktails during the era when Puerto Rican commissioners were navigating DC's high society. It uses Puerto Rican rum as its backbone, but it's built like a classic American martini or Manhattan, perfectly symbolizing the blending of two legal and cultural worlds. So here's the recipe. 1.5 ounces white rum, preferably Puerto Rican. 1 ounce blanc vermouth. 1/4 ounce orange curacao. 1 bar spoon of grenadine. And to garnish it, a maraschino cherry. Add all ingredients into a mixing glass with plenty of ice. Stir well for about 30 minutes. Do not shake. You want it crystal clear like a legal argument. Strain into a chilled coupe or cocktail glass and then drop in the cherry. Very nice. To understand how the people born in Puerto Rico got their citizenship, we have to look at the men who spent their nights in DC arguing for it. Puerto Ricans all. We start with Federico de Heto, the dreamer. He was our first advocate, arguing that citizenship wasn't a gift to be granted, but an undeniable right under the Constitution. He even forced his way into the U.S. Supreme Court bar just to prove a point. Tulio Larrinaga, the builder. While he focused on roads and the Puerto Rico Regiment, he kept the pressure on for a defined legal status, refusing to let the island remain an afterthought. Luis Muñoz Rivera, the pragmatist. His relationship with citizenship was complex. He didn't want second-class status. He famously demanded that if citizenship was coming, it had to come with full rights and real representation. Santiago Iglesias Pantin, the voice of the worker. Even before he held office, he saw citizenship as a shield, a way to protect the Puerto Rican laborer with the power of federal law. These men, right off the bat, as soon as possible, they started fighting for U.S. citizenship for all Puerto Ricans. And this is as early as 1899 and the 1900s, early 1900s. So they were paving the way, and with every fight, another step was conquered. They demanded equitable treatment, comparing Puerto Rico to the territories of Arizona and Oklahoma. They fought for the voice and the vote we still debate today. This journey, which began with the Forker Act and culminated in the Jones Act of 1917, laid the very first foundation for the work leaders like Jennifer Gonzalez Colon continue today in the quest for statehood. Look, I'm not arguing the case here for any political ideology. I'm presenting the facts, the historical facts. I'm not trying to promote any political ideology in this episode. and certainly not any politician at all. However, the road is there. The dates, the documents, and the actions of the people who actually fought for U.S. citizenship. And like I said at the beginning, from the very first resident commissioner. So raise your glass. Today, we toast to the diplomats, the rebels, and the visionaries who navigated the halls of power to define what it means to be Puerto Rican and American. On March 2, 1917, Congress passed the Jones-Shaffer Act. Three major things happened: a Bill of Rights for Puerto Rico, a structured local legislature, U.S. citizenship granted to those born in Puerto Rico. And let's be clear, this was not forced naturalization of individuals. It was collective statutory citizenship granted by Congress to residents of a United States territory. That is lawful. That is constitutional. And yes, weeks later, the United States entered World War I. Puerto Ricans served. Thousands volunteered. Thousands were drafted. Citizenship means rights and responsibilities. So, on this particular week, from the 2nd to the 7th of March, Puerto Rico commemorates Citizenship Day because that was the day when the Jones Act was approved. This isn't just a historical footnote. The documents are right there. So what does this mean? Legally, being a part of the American nation, a bond forged in war and service, a century of shared civic identity. Puerto Rico is not a foreign soil. It is American territory. Its residents are American citizens. But territory and statehood, it's not the same thing. And pretending they are, it only confuses the debate. And it actually injures and limits any further actions. Here's where legal precision matters. Citizenship from the people born in any of the 50 states come from the 14th Amendment. Constitutional citizenship. Citizenship for Americans born in Puerto Rico comes from statute. So there's a difference of where that citizenship comes from. And it includes any American that is born in Puerto Rico, and it also includes any Puerto Rican that is born in the States. So for those of us who were born in the States, we have the constitutional citizenship. For people that are born in Puerto Rico, that comes by law from the Jones Act of 1917, specifically codified today in Immigration and National Act 18 U.S.C. 1402, which states that persons born in Puerto Rico are citizens of the United States. That is federal law. Congress created it, and under the territorial clause, Congress governs territories. That's not controversial. That's black letter constitutional structure. Now, could Congress arbitrarily strip citizenship from individuals? No. The Supreme Court has long held citizenship cannot simply be revoked from individuals without consent. But legally speaking, Puerto Rican citizenship is statutory, not self-executing under the 14th Amendment. That is structural reality. Puerto Ricans are American citizens, whether they're born on the island or in the rest of the 50 states. They serve in the United States military. We carry U.S. passports, and we move freely within the nation. That includes the 50 states and all territories. But there's a slight difference. While residing in Puerto Rico, citizens do not vote for presidents, and the representative in Congress is a resident commission, which is a non-voting member of the United States Congress. That is not punishment. It is the constitutional definition and difference between a territory and a state. States vote in federal elections. Territories do not, and that has nothing to do with your citizenship. That's just how the Constitution was written. But it works the same for any American born in any of the 50 states. If they move to Puerto Rico, they also can't vote in presidential elections and are also limited to the territorial clause as any other resident of Puerto Rico. So it is not a matter of second-class citizenship, it's a matter of state versus territory. Citizenship is not symbolism. It is alliance. It is law. It is shared national identity. On March 2, 1917, Congress made Puerto Ricans born on the island United States citizens. More than a century later, that decision still shapes our constitutional reality, and any honest conversation about Puerto Rico's future statehood independence or autonomy within the United States as a territory must begin with understanding exactly how the citizenship was granted and under what authority it stands. So, looking back, you hear a lot, oh, American citizenship was imposed onto Puerto Ricans. Or you hear, well, they needed people to fight in the First World War, so that's why they gave us citizenship. But here's the thing. Since 1900, our representatives in Congress were fighting for U.S. citizenship. So when you have 4, 5, 6 resident commissioners actually fighting for citizenship, was it imposed? Does that tell you it was imposed? So thank you for watching. Have a great Wednesday. Have a great week. And if you commemorate or celebrate, which most Puerto Ricans do, U.S. Citizenship Day, well, happy Citizenship Day and week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the bell button, and share. Share it with your friends. These episodes are getting everywhere. People from Spain, Mexico, Canada, Dominican Republic, Germany, Great Britain, Ireland, they're joining our channel and they are subscribing. So thank you, and thank you very much to everybody that has subscribed to the channel. Let me know what you think about the episode. Comment it below. Your comments make this a lot more fun. And yes, I have people that don't agree with me or the information I present. Heck, sometimes I don't even agree with it myself, but those are the facts. And that's what we're doing here, bringing the facts. Because there are some of these things that we didn't learn in school. And there are other things, other information that a certain group of people just repeats over and over. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a great time. And I hope you have a good week, a great week. Have fun, be safe. I know things are getting a little bit crazy out there. God bless. And of course, salud. If you tried this recipe, let me know in the comments below. Salud.